do everything very different from the whole industry. And that helped us to set some rules and to become benchmark for other companies in B2B iGaming. The transparency is one of our brand pillar. We must be transparent with our customers because in the end, everyone wants to choose a safe and secure solution and product for them. And from the our bones, I would say we try to be as transparent as possible to our customers.
Hello, and welcome to the Future Makers exclusive, the CMO Sessions, an Only.cy and the Future Media Productions. My name is Annetta Benzar, and I am your host. In this series, I sit down with CMOs and marketing leaders from global companies to unpack the strategies that drive breakout growth. Let's begin. Today, I'm speaking with Valentina Bagniya, Chief Marketing Officer at SOFTSWISS, the iGaming tech company behind casinos, sportbook, and affiliate platforms used by operators around the world. Under her leadership, SOFTSWISS has become one of the most visible B2B brands in iGaming, winning multiple industry awards and launching data-first projects like the annual iGaming Trends Report and others. Valentina, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me here. It's a pleasure to discuss with you our strategy and everything around marketing, what we are doing every day. Thank you.
I am really excited to kind of get into the details. So let's begin from the very beginning. You joined SOFTSWISS just at the start of everyone's favorite year, 2020, when COVID hit. What was it about the company that made you say yes?
Very interesting question. It was so long time ago. It seems to me that 100 years passed after that. But agree, everything changed after 2020. In the beginning of 2020, we didn't expect anything, and how much changed during this year, after this year. What made me say yes, and why did I choose this company? All my experience I got in a pretty mature FMCG international companies. Nestle, British American tobacco, some local, but very mature businesses. And I remember when I got a message from SOFTSWISS, I really didn't consider that time any move.
Really?
I just got raised a new position in my previous company and was thinking that I was absolutely happy with that. But for some reason, I don't, maybe just because I was sitting at home working remotely, got some free time, I decided to talk. And I think it was one of the best decisions I made because SOFTSWISS at that moment was, I would say, pretty young, very dynamic, very flexible, very open to newcomers, to new things company. And I guess this made me feel very much excited because I understand that all experience that I got previously in FMCG in these mature companies, I can implement in my way. And the company gave me this opportunity. They were very much open to everything. So for me, it was a chance finally to do something new, to use everything that I got before, all the skills, competences, knowledge, and implement them. Because, when you work in international business, still you follow some rules. You must do it because this is part of corporate strategy. This is part of marketing strategy. In this case, with SOFTSWISS, I got a chance to do everything that I feel and think correct and right for the company. And I guess this opportunity was a thing that made me take this decision. And I'm very happy that after 5 years, I can say that I'm very happy that I did it. That I took this chance, grabbed this chance.
Beautiful. Okay, so you walk through the front door and you, I guess, meet the marketing team, meet the marketing map. Can you give us the picture? What was SOFTSWISS marketing ecosystem at that point?
As I said, SoftSwiss was a very young company at that moment. And when I came to SoftSwiss, again, the key challenge and place of interest was for me that SoftSwiss at that moment didn't have any marketing department. So this was my goal, to implement marketing function from scratch. And it also was like a challenge, something super exciting for me, like a space where I can implement everything that I gained before during like 15 years in marketing. So at that moment, SoftSwiss didn't have marketing functions. There were some people that did to some extent some marketing activities, like participating in expo or posting on LinkedIn, but there was just like maybe 2 or 3 people. And they had their other responsibilities. So they work in business development and did some part of expert organizing, or they worked in HR and did some posting on social media, but there were no marketing function. It was a fantastic challenge for me.
So marketing was kind of just like an added extra,
Absolutely,
a little,
yeah.
just a bit of sauce on the
and
plate.
Our founder, I mean SoftSwiss founder, came to the very good, I think, very conclusion that SoftSwiss needs strong marketing, and he really wanted to outsource expertise from mature companies. Because, I came to SoftSwiss to B2B, to iGaming, without any experience in B2B or iGaming. But I had experience in like international companies where the strategy comes before execution, when the planning is very important, when you need to analyze, where you need to build the foundation before you go to execution. And at that moment, iGaming was very much different. And I think that our founder at that moment, he was thinking many years, like 5-10 years ahead, when he took a decision to hire a person absolutely without any expertise in iGaming, with an expertise in strategic marketing.
How open were they to change from that very beginning?
I think they were very much open, because I got a chance to start from scratch, to write marketing strategy, to develop brand positioning, to hire a new team, because there were, as I said, absolutely no people who could work 100% of their time in iGaming. So in my opinion, the company was absolutely open. The founder of the company was ready for these changes and like new wave of like new era of company in company development. So
that's really interesting. It's like he is obviously taking a risk, because he's hiring you as somebody who doesn't know the subject or the sector as such, and yet he is very future forward thinking, because he knows something needs to change, and in order to push the company forward, marketing needs to become like a leading force. What were the first 2 or 3 decisions that you made in order to put the company onto the right track?
Hard to remember.
Yes.
But after analyzing everything, I think that the first decision was to start from marketing strategy. Because, of course, when I came, company did it business, it was successful, it was growing, but the growth came from the industry, because industry was growing by itself, and there was a lot of chances. You just grab the chance, and you will grow, and your business will grow. But there were no strategy, long-term planning at that moment. And I would say probably at that moment company even didn't need it, because they need just to grab everything that industry and market gave to SoftSwiss at that moment. So the first thing I started with was marketing strategy, because at that moment I understood that market and the industry would change. And after this period of fast growth will come the phase of mature development, when there would be a lot of competition in the market, and it would be not that easy to grow. So the first thing is marketing strategy, long-term planning. The second thing, I came from FMCG, and in FMCG industry, brand is the top of marketing. First you build brand, then you do promotion of your brand. So the second thing that I did, and it was crucial for me, is to develop brand positioning. What I mean, to write on the paper what is our brand, what is the purpose of our brand, what key advantages do we have, how we are going to speak with our target audience. I think it's very important, and I'm not sure that even now, after 5 years, all companies in iGaming have it, but still, I'm talking a lot about that. I think this is super important for the business, especially now, because brand is something that stays in the head of our customers when everything goes away. So marketing strategy, brand positioning, and I guess the third decision that I took at that moment was to hire and to create marketing team that will do all the functions in-house. Because when I started to learn the industry, the expertise within industry, what I understood that there are not much marketing expertise exactly in iGaming and in B2B iGaming. So it was very hard or almost impossible to find an agency, a partner who could help you to execute what you need, who could help you to reach your target. So it was like very clear for me. So not to search, because you can search for years, but to hire and to grow inside. So probably these 3 decisions.
I just want to go back to the branding, because I think, like you mentioned, a lot of companies get this wrong. So, there's the iGaming sector, and a lot of the companies are just like, I'm in the iGaming sector. I'm an iGaming company. How did you go from I'm a company in this sector to what is the brand of SOFTSWISS?
You always build, if you don't build your brand, your customers will create it in their heads, in their minds by themselves. So, of course, you have to manage this process. But when you do this, first of all, you analyze 2 things. What you can give to the market. You do internal analysis to understand what really you as a team, you as a company, your products can give to the market. And then you analyze what your target audience really needs. Every brand positioning starts with customer insights. So we investigate, we analyze what really our customers need and what we can give to them based on their needs. And on the crossing on these 2 lines, we developed our positioning statement. And I guess this is a crucial thing to understand these 2 lines, what you can give and what the market needs. So this is what we did. And this helped us to develop our, at that moment, pretty unique positioning. Now we are working on development of our positioning statement, because after 5 years, we see that the market is changing. The market is becoming more mature, and our customers, they need now a bit different things. So we are working exactly right now on changing of our brand positioning and on changing of repositioning, rebranding of SOFTSWISS. But we spent in the market with our positioning, that positioning that was developed in 2020, for 5 years. And I guess it's like a very strong statement for such dynamic industry as iGaming.
Exactly. Especially since so many new companies have kind of come into the sector. So the fact that you've been able to not just stay afloat, but actually to drive the waves and to kind of have your brand still driving that, it just shows the strength and power of your branding. And that you can see that now is a point of evolution with the customer. So you're not just out of the blocks thinking, okay, let's just rebrand. You're kind of moving with your customer.
Absolutely. But it's very important in marketing. It doesn't matter you work with B2B customers or with B2C consumers. You need to understand how the market is changing, because you have to stay relevant. Because if you lose your relevance for your target audience, you're losing your market share, you are starting to stagnate.
Yeah.
So it will not work. So customer research is a very important part of our job every day. And I guess this is also that we do different from many companies in B2B iGaming. We focus a lot of our efforts on customer research.
Well, now that you've mentioned your working day, can you give us a glimpse of what your working day or working week looks like as a CMO?
Oh, how my day looks like. I work remotely. I have to say that, and I guess this is like a very important thing, because when you work remotely, you have to have a lot of meetings and calls. Unfortunately, this is new reality, and you cannot do anything with that, because I'm, as a chief marketing officer, I have to stay in touch with my team, with my C-level management colleagues, and I can do it only through video calls. So almost all my days a day I do this. But within marketing department, we have like a rule. Our key time zone is Central European. So starting from, we can have meetings only from 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. In these frames. So in the morning, all of us can have time to work, to look through the mailbox, to answer all messages on Slack, to do like a regular part of the job. Then like time slot from 11 to 4 for meetings and calls. And then after 4 again, you can just look through the day you had before, made some conclusions, plan your next day. So this is important rule. Of course, we cannot follow it every day because we have rules to break them, but still we try to follow it as much as possible. So in the morning, I check my mailbox. I do something that I didn't have time to do before. But my main part of the job, of course, is communication. I have to stay in touch with my team. I have to explain to them some strategic changes that we are going through, especially during this period of the year, when you just finished to plan your strategy for 2026 and you started to implement it. And as I said, in SOFTSWISS, we are doing like a lot of changes right now to move our business forward even faster than it was before. So this is what I do during the day. I talk to my team, I explain, I communicate, I try to help them to overcome challenges. I give them challenges. Of course, this is my job to challenge my team every day. So I cannot skip it. This is how my day look like. And my weekend, I try to do what I really love, to read books, to take walks with my family, to do something fun with my family, to do sports, because during the working days, not every day I have time for that. Sometimes I can do something. I mean, I can work even, because if we are launching some exciting project, I feel this like a inner desire to finish something, to be involved in something. Then I'm absolutely okay for myself to do something during the weekend, but it's not like a strategy I'm trying to implement for everyone in my team. So just for myself, I love my job and I can do that.
I mean, it's encouraging to hear, like, from a leader that you are very passionate, not just about the work itself, but also the team. And, I could just feel it, like the energy coming from you. The fact that you want to work on it during the weekend and that you excited to kind of come to the work is, I think, as a team member looking up to their leader, I think that is a very important aspect of the team, isn't it? To be able to share in that energy and to go forward in that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Personally, I always was very much inspired by leaders I had, and they all were very passionate about what they are doing. They were doing. So I'm trying to be the same for my team. But I also understand that sometimes it can be for them very much complicated, because when their leader is running forward, is challenging them every day, it's not that easy. I understand that. But in our industry, I think it's important to be like that, because industry is super fast and very dynamic. And you have to be even more dynamic and fast to be ahead, not to be behind.
Can we pick one initiative that SOFTSWISS SOFTSWISS has launched, well, under your leadership. And how do you think that initiative kind of changed the course of the companies?
Big one initiative.
Yeah.
Let me think, please.
Or at least a memorable one.
I think that the key thing that we did at SOFTSWISS, speaking of marketing, was to do everything very different from the whole industry. And that helped us to set some rules and to become benchmark for other companies in B2B iGaming. I came, as I said already, I came from FMCG. I repeat it very often. And FMCG, overall, this market is mature. Let's be honest. Marketing in FMCG started in 30s last century when Procter & Gamble developed their first brand and started to think about that. So it was a very long time ago. And yes, of course, the approach there is very mature for now. And at that moment, it seems to me that I was one of the first leader in iGaming who came outside iGaming. And of course, that was our advantage, and I had to to use this advantage in our everyday work. So we started to do and to plan everything around marketing based on FMCG rules. So we launched campaigns that were very much different from B2B campaigns. I guess in 2022, we launched the first campaign we won a lot of awards for. It was Bringing the Heat campaign, where we used approach that is not used widely in B2B, but like a very much FMCG approach. 360-degree campaign. We launched in Malta 360-degree campaign, and the channels we use for communication of the idea of SOFTSWISS were very much different. So we used out-of-home campaigns. We did buzz branding. We did branding, like vehicles branding. We did branding in the airport. We used radio for communication of the idea of the campaign. We invited our C-level managers to become a part of this campaign, so to make them more visible. And Malta is a good place for such a type of campaign because the audience there has like a very overall high affinities. There are a lot of people from iGaming, but it was very much different from what our competitors did at that moment. As I said, we won several awards for this campaign, for the way how we use channels. And it was very much efficient, not only for marketing KPIs and metrics, because we grew our brand awareness a lot because of this campaign. Again, we used something others never used before, and it helped us a lot to become more visible for our target audience. But it also brought us sales. We got contracts after this campaign, what is even more important for the business. So, and we continued to do a lot of things very much different from other companies in iGaming, in B2B iGaming, because we launched iGaming trend report also in 2022. I guess it was like a gold year for SOFTSWISS, and we continue to launch this report every year in the end of the year for the next one, and we see that our competitors follow us in both. They also started to be more creative on their campaigns. They started to be more consistent, and their media plans, as I see, became more different from what it was before. They also started to do reviews of the trends, or even repeat our trends report. So now we have several trends report in the industry, but still SOFTSWISS is the first one, top of mind. So I think these things, we just do almost everything in a different way. Yeah. We break the rules. We don't follow the rules that were at that time. We didn't follow the rules, and we don't follow the rules now. We try to be different, because I think, when the atmosphere is very much saturated with different type of communication, to become visible, you should do something that will be significantly different from the others.
And what I'm hearing is that even though you are in what we would say like a very controversial sector, yet you're bringing visibility to some of the leaders within like the team. You're actually bringing them to the full force. But then you're also kind of establishing yourself instead of just kind of like hiding behind like, oh yeah, we're a company and yeah, we do a little bit of iGaming and this and this. But you're saying no, actually, we are the credible, the
transparent.
We're transparent and we're the leaders in this sector. Here, come to us. We have the resources for you to learn more about this sector. And I think that's really important. Like you were not afraid to kind of establish your position.
Exactly, these things they help to grow credibility. And the transparency is one of our brand pillar. We must be transparent with our customers because in the end, everyone wants to choose a safe and secure solution and product for them. And from the our bones, I would say we try to be as transparent as possible to our customers, to media, to everyone we are working with, to all stakeholders we are working with. I guess it's super important for B2B company because it creates a feeling of safety and security. Yeah. And in B2B, it's super important.
Yeah, and in a way, you're trailblazers in that regard because it's only now I'm hearing the last 2 years where people are talking about transparency, credibility, authenticity, and you're like, well, yeah,
trust.
That was 2022. Let's move on. The new word of the year.
Yeah.
So, and especially, I'm repeating myself, but within the iGaming industry. You are building that trust.
Absolutely, and we must do it. This is, I guess, it's also some kind of our mission because this helps to move industry forward. We are changing. Industry is changing. Industry is growing from gray segment to white market. Legislation is going around the world, and we shouldn't follow. We should be ahead of that. Yeah. And it's not about only SOFTSWISS. I think every company that wants to stay in this market for a long time, that wants to develop a strong business, should be like that. Without that, I don't think that it's important to survive for a long time in iGaming.
Yeah, of course.
Again, it's about forward thinking. You have to understand that industry is changing. But again, maybe my previous experience helps me to understand that because I worked in tobacco, I worked in alcohol industry.
You're not afraid.
And, and both tobacco and alcohol, they went through this transformation. And now iGaming is going through this transformation. So it's very much clear what is going on right now and where we are moving now.
And since we're talking about global brand, your team is across the world, correct? Yeah. How do you kind of keep it structured across the B2B product lines? How do you keep everything organized and moving towards one purpose?
You said global team, not so global because before our interview I even tried to count how many countries we have in the team, in what countries my employees are working right now, and I calculated that we have employees just in 12 countries.
Oh, just
not that many.
Not that many. Considering you have in the thousands of teams, but 12 is not bad.
Just 12 countries, around 70 employees in the team, in the department, 8 team was in marketing department. How do we keep this consistent? I would say, again, a very simple thing. First is marketing strategy. We have marketing strategy, and this is a plan that everyone in the team have to know. So this is what we're working with for the whole year. The team and almost each team member involved in the development of marketing strategy for every year. So they know common goals, they know business goals, they know marketing goals and marketing strategy. So they understand where we are going. This is the first very important thing. And then, of course, we have implementation plans. Even within marketing department, we have implementation plans, operational plans for every team, because every team have to understand how they can influence and what they can give to reaching our business targets and marketing targets. So everyone has their operational plans and of course metrics, because you have to have clear measures of what you are doing, and if what you are doing is useful for the business. And these KPIs or metrics, they help you to understand you're going right or you have to, I don't know, reconsider what is going on. So I think this process things, they help us to stay, I would say, on the same page.
And when you're bringing somebody into the marketing department, what are the skills you're looking at now? Especially now that there's this big talk around what skills you need for the future of marketing. What skills or what qualities are you looking for specifically?
The first thing I'm looking for is responsibility. Doesn't matter the position, doesn't matter the level of employee. So I'm not the one who is searching for hard skills. Or maybe when a candidate gets to my eye, I'm absolutely sure that he has already, his hard skills were already checked. So the first thing I'm looking for is responsibility, passion for the job you are doing, high level of ambitions, because in our industry, I guess it's impossible to work without that. And I want to see brave people in my team. Marketing is a field for those who are brave. Especially now, I don't want to dive deep into the role of marketing in B2B overall, but I would say that marketing should prove the importance of it as it is. And to do it, you have to be responsible, you have to be ambitious, you have to be brave. So this is what I'm looking for when I'm hiring people in my team.
I like that. I don't think I've heard the answer before, but I think the brave is, I think from what I'm hearing up to now, is something that keeps coming up. Just as a quality that I think SOFTSWISS is trying to reflect.
Probably, yeah. But market is very dynamic. Yeah. The role of marketing, if we go back to the topic of marketing and the role of marketing in business, unfortunately, marketers, especially in B2B, cannot prove their credibility very often. They don't have enough competencies overall to explain the real usefulness of marketing. And what I hear very often right now, that some companies, they cut marketing spends, especially on brand building. So it means that management and founders of the companies, they don't understand the real value of brand building. This is what I'm trying to change, not only in SOFTSWISS, it's already in a different way, but I'm trying to bring the idea that brand is super important for the future. But still, if you're working in the team where, for example, your management or your founders don't understand and don't feel the real value of a brand, of marketing spend on this type of campaigns, you have to be first very skillful, and then you have to be brave and persistent to explain, to understand, to stay on these and to move these. Because if you cannot, of course, marketing will lose its credibility. And this is a huge problem, I guess, for now, what I see. But I'm sure that we can change it somehow. Professionals who are working, who are persistent, I'm sure will change it. At least I think that SOFTSWISS is a good example of strong brand. And we can be an example for many other marketing professionals to explain to their stakeholders that strong brand can move company forward.
Yeah, of course. And having the support of the stakeholders is, crucial.
Extremely important.
if there's conflict like within the company itself, it's how can the company move forward if there is horizontal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also like a very good question to discuss.
Yeah, it's a completely...
and it's like a big topic for discussion, the communication between different layers within the company, the importance of problem solving and conflict solving, because conflicts also can be productive. And I guess the conflict, because, for example, sales short-term and marketing long-term can be very much productive, but only when two sides understand the value of each other. Because this conflict will be forever. We cannot solve it, because one thinks short-term, the other must think long-term. But the way how you work on it, the way how you explains the value of each part is very important.
Yeah. I want to shift a little bit and talk more about the actual sector. So SOFTSWISS is known as a tech and crypto pioneer in iGaming. But you also need to model reliability and compliance to regulators and operators. So how do you kind of balance the two? How do you move forward while still keeping the operators and the regulators, happy?
I think there are no contradiction there, because when you work and when you work and operate in the regulated market, the first thing you have to do is to follow the regulation, or even better, to be ahead of regulation. So I don't see any contradiction here. Yes, we are like a technological pioneer in some of the iGaming fields, but it doesn't mean that we do it overcoming regulation. In this way, we cannot perform. We just discussed that the future of iGaming is regulation, legislation, and such companies as SOFTSWISS, we have not even follow these. We have to be ahead of this sometimes, just to show that we stay for responsible gambling practices, that we understand the importance of regulation. On the other hand, when the market is gray, and this is not only about iGaming, sometimes regulation can start with very strict laws, and this can move market back to gray segment, unfortunately, because as I said, this is not only about iGaming. This happened in tobacco, this happened in alcohol. So I guess our role as B2B provider right now is to work on harmonizing the situation, because regulation is a must, but regulation should be done and created in the way not to stimulate industry players to move in the gray segment. Unfortunately, it can happen, as it happened before. But iGaming is going to be mature right now. So I'm absolutely sure that we will do some mistakes, as an industry, and we will overcome it. So,
is there a specific example that comes to mind of like any regulations or ethical concerns that kind of influenced any campaign you were working on?
For us, I would say probably not, because we are B2B companies. So we promote software. We don't promote like games or something like that. So for us, it's not like a huge problem. The problem that we face usually when we start to promote our brand is that markets don't have B2B regulations. They don't have regulations for such companies as we are, and then they try to use B2C regulation for such, practices for such companies as SOFTSWISS. This is a problem we can face sometimes, not often, but sometimes. For example, on Google, there are no regulation for B2B, or just in the beginning stage of it. So with this we can face, but what we do, we just follow the rules. I'm absolutely sure that this is crucial for us. As I said, I worked in alcohol. You can be creative, but you cannot break the rules. It's very important. For B2C companies, I guess they face a bit different situations, but I don't work in B2C to discuss. I know problems they face, but again, I don't work in this industry, so I don't think that I can speak of that a lot.
Let's talk about the iGaming Trends Report. What pushed you to kind of launch that initiative? And have any of the insights from the actual Trends Report influence for future marketing campaigns?
How did we come to understanding that industry needs it? It's again like a very simple thing for us at that moment. It was, as I said, I started my job at SOFTSWISS with developing of marketing strategy, and to do that, of course, I need the first stage of any strategy is analytical part. You have to analyze what is going inside, what is going outside, and of course to read and to understand where market is going, where the industry is going. So trends. What are the trends in the industry? But I couldn't find anything in 2020. It was, and it was like a nightmare for me because I came from beverage industry where everything was very much clear. There were a lot of companies, they did research that described the future of beverage industry overall. So it was difficult, but we understand that for us, in a year when marketing was established already in SOFTSWISS, we understood that this is a huge opportunity, and if we as a company will invest our resources in developing of such report, it can become our big advantage. So we did it. We started to work with international research agency. We did several research. We did desk in-house analytics of the industry. We did interviews with different experts, and we created our first report, and we understood, yes, this is a good thing to continue to do. And you also said, what did we take from this report? It's very difficult for me to answer because, of course, I'm sure that there are some things that we really took as an outcomes from the report and our activities, but overall it seems to me that in marketing, in B2B marketing, in iGaming, our company and our team were those who set trends. So first we did something, and after that what we did got into the report. It seems to me that it was like that. But I'm absolutely sure that some of the things that we got from the analysis we implemented as well, but nothing pops up in my head right now.
Let's talk about AI. How do you use AI in your workflows? What works? What doesn't work?
AI. I think this is a topic that cannot be skipped in any interview.
Not
right
today.
Yeah. Of course, we use AI in our everyday work. Like early stage of content is created with the help of AI. AI helps to analyze a huge massives of data. It really helps, but of course you need to check it. It's important to do this human check of everything, but still it helps us to be faster in some things for visual, not creation, but when we do briefs for our creative team, our brand managers can use different AI tools just to show to creative team what we want to get. Just example, reference what we want to get. But overall at SOFTSWISS, we think that AI, as many, I guess, not only SOFTSWISS, but that AI is our future. And in the company overall, we want to build a strong foundation for AI practices implementation. So around 2 months ago, we implemented a new position, Chief AI Officer at SOFTSWISS. So there are now a team that works on making AI a part of everyday operations for every team, not like, oh, do you use ChatGPT or not? Yes, of course we do, but now it will be like part of the whole business structure for us, and we want to create a strong foundation for everyone to use it with profit for the company. And in our team, we also have not only now, but overall, we have AI champions, those people who help to implement best practice of AI, who can control overuse of AI, of course, because it's also, very important not to do too much AI.
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more visible, especially in content creation. Fortunately, I would say that now there are tools that can help you to understand that this text was, for example, written with AI. But overall, I guess it's very much visible. When you read a lot of text, you understand that there are no humans there.
Yeah.
And you need it more and more right now. You need
Exactly.
to talk to people. You need to read text that with mistakes. With
Oh my goodness. When I see spelling errors, I actually feel happy these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Same with me. And I don't think that we are exceptions. I think that we are rule right now. People want to see something that was created by humans.
Yeah.
I guess you've heard the complaints about Coca-Cola advertising that was created with AI. So 2 years ago, it was something fantastic.
Yeah.
It was something very pioneering. But now when you see these ads, you want to see real humans.
Yes. Very, very, very true. And you kind of want to see real facial expressions. You want to see like smile and lines.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just, yeah.
So we use AI. We think that AI is our future, but to make it in a smart way, to make it in a way that will bring profit to our company, we work on it like in a strategic way. SOFTSWISS.
Lovely. And now, last question. For marketers stepping into their first or maybe changing their careers into a regulated B2B tech category today, what advice would you give them? What do you think is what is a potential big mistake that they may make in their first year? And what advice would you give them to avoid that?
I think that a potential mistake that marketers in our industry, and not probably even in our industry, but in like a young, very fast-moving industry can do, is to jump into execution without strategy. I think it's very interesting to get first results, like to go and jump in doing something. But this is the crucial mistake, I think. You have to do strategy, you have to do planning, you have to understand the basics, you have to do a lot of analytical work, you have to understand, if we are talking about industry that is regulated, you have to understand the rules of regulations. It's very important. You have to develop strategy, and only after that you have to jump into implementation. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it is a bit boring because, when you're passionate about something, you want just to get results, first of all. But yes, please go through this boring part, because if you do it, after you will get like a very fantastic results. And if you don't do this boring job, I'm absolutely sure that in a year, you will face some problems, and you will have to go to the beginning and start with strategy. But already you did several mistakes, so it's better to start with strategy and then implementation. This is, I would say, my first advice.
Patience before passion.
Patience before passion.
Patience before
Thank you very much. I will note
it down.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's like you'd rather take the time now instead of making very expensive mistakes later.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
That has been, there are so many nuggets of really, really crucial and very, I think, strong information bites. I could take from this conversation. So thank you so much for sharing your insights and your story. and kind
you.
of how you navigated through this company and this industry.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your questions and for being a very important part of our conversation, because you helped me to uncover some things that I even didn't expect to. And thank you for this patience before passion.
There you go. And bravery. And bravery.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining us for today's conversation. If you'd like to listen to any more of our episodes, see the link below. Thank you.